Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Welcome to you all. Welcome to Bridging AI and Blockchain, ICP use cases, and hand-on applications with our technical manager from Quantum Leap Labs, Atika Fatima. We are really excited to have you here with us today. My name is Adrienne Guy. I'm the co-founder of Creator Fest, and I will be your technical support for this session. So before we get started, I just want to make sure that everyone is set up to have the greatest experience possible. If you have any questions or run into any issues during the session, feel free to reach out to me directly in the chat. You can reach out to the Creator Fest account. I'll be here the entire time to help you out. So you'll be able to see on the right-hand side that we have a Q&A feature in your toolbar. Feel free to use that to submit your questions, and you can also share your reactions or your thoughts with the chat to engage during the session. Let's keep this interactive and fun. And now I'm super thrilled to introduce our amazing speaker for today's workshop, Atika Fatima.
Hi, Adrian. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. Firstly, thank you so much, Adrian, for this opportunity. I hope we're getting settled in nicely. Hello, everyone. My name is Atika Fatima, and I am the Developer Relations Manager at ICP Hub Canada in the US and the Technical Incubation Manager at Quantum Leap Labs. Just a quick question. Do we wait a couple of minutes for people to settle in, or are we good to go?
Yeah, I would say we can go ahead and jump right into the content. Atika?
Okay, perfect. So right before we get started, a quick hi from everyone in the chat box. Your name and from where you are would really help. I see Tuba has already initiated the conversation. Oh, perfect. Hi, Akansha. Hi, Cecilia. Okay, we have a lot of diversity. Hi, Devor. Hi, Ria. Hi, Deepa. Okay, perfect. So we have a lot of people coming in, which is good. Let me start sharing my screen. Just give me a minute. Okay. Okay, perfect. Let me share my screen. We'll go in present mode. Okay. Please confirm once you start seeing my screen.
I
Okay.
can confirm. Perfect.
Perfect. So today's workshop is going to be super interesting. One of my favorite topics, which is bridging the gap between blockchain and AI. Um, just to let you all know what the agenda for the day is going to be, we're going to be talking about the fundamentals of blockchain, its evolution, and the real world applications of blockchain. We're going to discuss some controversies around blockchain, and it's going to be super fun. So I don't want to give away the surprises. We're also going to tackle the AI boom, talking about chatbots, automation, and AI driven solutions. We're going to go ahead and talk about introduction to Internet Computer Protocol, which is nothing but ICP, and how Internet Computer is enabling fully decentralized applications on the internet. We're also going to deploy a live canister on the Internet Computer at the end of the workshop. Okay. So I hope everybody is excited. Moving on, just to give you a quick introduction about who I am and why am I qualified to be here. So, hello everyone. My name is Atika Fatima. Like I already mentioned, I'm the Community and Developer Relations Manager at ICP Hub Canada and the US, and we're going to talk about what ICP Hub Canada and US is. But apart from that, I am also a blockchain product engineer at Bitcoin Bay Corporation. I was the founding president of Decentralized Minds, which is George Brown College's very own blockchain club. I hold a postgraduate degree in blockchain development and a postgraduate degree in applied AI solutions. So I wanted to be able to, bridge that gap between blockchain and AI. I hold back in my country. So I recently moved to Canada. I originally am from India, and I did my bachelor's in technology in computer science engineering. And I've worked with 120 plus startups in their product development journey. Helping them right from idea to building their MVP to launching in the market. I also started, I, along with a couple of other colleagues and friends, started the first Web3 community back in my city in Hyderabad, in collaboration with Polygon Guild. And I graduated, and that's when I knew, I had to formalize my education, which is why I came to Canada. So that's all. That's a little bit about myself. And you feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. You can check out my GitHub as well. A lot of projects that you guys can replicate are available on my GitHub. So, yes, I would love to connect with all of you. Moving on to what is blockchain, because I want everybody to be on the same page, and I understand that everybody's coming from, we have a very diverse crowd. I want everybody to be on the same page, whether you're a beginner, you're an intermediate, you're an advanced. So let's get right on with the discussion. I want to understand what you know about blockchain. What is blockchain for you? And remember, there are no right or wrong answers. Thank you, Adrian, for sharing my LinkedIn in the chat box. Okay. Can I have at least one answer from somebody about what they know about blockchain? Okay. Never got into it. It was confusing, but I know it's the future. Well, I would say you and me, my 3 years ago, myself would have said the same thing, Vanessa. So you and me both, sister. Blockchain to me has symbolized freedom. Okay, Akansha, I'm new to this field. I just know about decentralized and open, more control over identity and data. System to record transactions on a P2P network. Ria. Okay, perfect. Um, okay, okay. Mm-hmm. Just a sophomore exploring new technologies and trends. Perfect. And we're glad to have you here, Tuba. It's an honor that I am here to introduce. I'm the one introducing you to this fabulous technology right here. Um, so, yes. Let me just. Okay, perfect. So, we're going to talk about blockchain. What is blockchain? Basically, the three keywords that you need to remember in terms of blockchain is decentralization, security, and distribution. Now, whenever I am introducing blockchain to any newbies, right, I tell them it's an immutable database. Now, I can get hit by my professor for calling it a database, but to just simplify it for everybody, it's an immutable database, a database that cannot be changed once data is entered into it. Now it can be, and we're going to talk about the complexities there, but just to give you a good idea, or just to make you understand, it's an immutable database. Digital immutable database. Now, most of the times when I call it a database, people are like, where is the data getting stored? Do we have like a physical database? No, it's a digital database or a ledger technology. uh, Originally it is called DLT, which is digital ledger technology. Now, what's a ledger? If anybody comes from an accounting background, you do understand that a ledger is something where you record transactions. I remember Ria saying that it records transactions on a peer-to-peer network. So, very apt definition right there, Ria. uh, so it's a distributed immutable ledger technology, that distributes these transactions amongst node of in a peer-to-peer network. Basically, the data is stored in the form of blocks that are connected in the form of a chain, which is why it's called blockchain, literally in the name. The next thing that we're going to tackle is the evolution of blockchain, just to get you all understand. And this is one of my favorite pictorial representation shared by my very own professor George Petrovic, giving the credit that he needs for these pictures. It shows the inception of blockchain. So in 1991, the first paper came out about the use of a chain in cryptographically secured blocks. So we started the talks about this technology back in the way 1991. Then in 1992 we added the concept of Merkle tree. Now, what Merkle tree is, it is a technical term where we talked about nodes, right? So all of these nodes can be tracked back to the root node, which is the genesis block. There are more detailed resources, blogs, and content on Merkle tree that you can look into, but we're not going to dive too much into the technical aspect today. Then in 1993, proof of work consensus mechanism was proposed by Han Finney. Now, what is proof of work? Basically, when we're talking about a peer-to-peer network, right? So let's say we're building a blockchain in this very own workshop room, where I am one of the nodes, Ria is one of the nodes, Tuba is one of the nodes. We have so many beautiful other people. Akansha is one of the nodes. Marlena is one of the nodes, and everybody else who's a part of the workshop is a node. So how do we, and let's say we need to add a transaction in this blockchain that we have currently built. How would you do that? And how would you come to a consensus? What I mean by a consensus is, how would you come to a single decision between all of us that, okay, this transaction is valid and let's add it to our blockchain? That is what is called a consensus. So a consensus mechanism is nothing but how all of the nodes are going to come to a decision, a mutual understanding or a decision about how the blockchain would work. Okay, so there are multiple consensus mechanisms with different rules and regulations so that all of the nodes are satisfied. Let's say, what I mean by satisfied is, let's say Tuba is saying that the transaction has to be, let's say we're talking about monetary transaction, okay? And Tuba says the transaction has to be anywhere above $50, okay? And I'm just using money to make it simpler. The transaction can be anything, okay? We can store data, we can, and I'm going to talk about the use cases so you will understand it much better. But just for time being, we're taking the example of money. Let's say we're talking about storing transactions on our blockchain, monetary transactions. And Tuba saying any transaction that happens at a particular place, or let's say we own a shop. So all of us own a shop and the blockchain is happening on that shop. So the blockchain is the transactions that happen inside the shop. So Tuba says only transactions that are happening within the shop have to be added to the blockchain. Let's say now we'll take the example of Adrian says all of no but all of the transactions that are happening online as well, the purchases that are made from the shop, should also be added in the blockchain. So all of these differences, difference of opinion comes into the picture when multiple nodes across the network are working. How do you get all of them onto the same page? Is through a consensus mechanism. Now nodes are not people, they are computers, they are machines. And we'll look into more how those consensus mechanisms are achieved, but proof of work is one of the consensus mechanisms, one of the actually the first consensus mechanism to come into the picture. In 2004 we talked about, proof of work, how to make it reusable, transferring RSA signed token. And then the main, the actual time which is super important was 2008, when the white paper on Bitcoin, which was the first blockchain that came into the picture. So what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a peer to peer e-cash system by Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, the hilarious thing is nobody knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is. Everybody just started to talk about the white paper. And the first Bitcoin block was mined in 2009. Now, a lot of people say that there have been a lot of controversies on who Satoshi Nakamoto is. Nobody really knows who he is. Some people say it's a group of people. Some people say it's one person. Some people say he died. Some people say he's still alive. So whatever, there's a lot of controversies there. But the first block on the Bitcoin blockchain was mined in 2009. Now the first block is also called as the Genesis block, which means where the generation of blocks started, which is why it's called the Genesis block. 2009, the first transaction of 10 bitcoins was done from Satoshi to Hal Finney. Now, if you remember, Hal Finney was the one who proposed the consensus mechanism in 1993. So Satoshi sent out 10 bitcoins to Hal Finney in 2009 as the first transaction. Then in 2012 is when Bitcoin picked up, became $250 in worth. Currently, if you look at the price of Bitcoin, can somebody tell me what is the price of Bitcoin currently? Exactly. So it did hit above 100K once Trump came into the picture, and then there's another controversy right there. But it is 98K today, I think 97 to 98K, something like that. So you see the illusion right there happening. It's like after 20, it was $250 in 2012. So let's say any of us bought like a Bitcoin also, we would have been a millionaire today, which is the sad part that we're learning so late about it. But yes, just kidding. Better late than never. I keep hearing a sound, not sure what it is. Is somebody raising a hand or something like that? Oh, I think somebody is texting me personally. Okay, okay, that makes sense. Perfect. So Tuba just Googled and she found out the one Bitcoin is 97,585.09 USD. So you do know what we're talking about right now. And this is something that you need to be serious about. So this slide completely talks about blockchain 1.0, the inception of blockchain. We're going to move on to the rise and the struggles of blockchain. Now in 2013, 11 million Bitcoin worth of 1 billion were traded. Okay. So basically, Bitcoin being a peer to peer transaction, people were doing transactions on it. The trades were getting recorded. These transactions were getting recorded into blocks, and there is some statistics related to it. But Bitcoin being a blockchain, right? What happened was, let me just get that slide for you. Just give me a second. Let me if I can quickly open my notepad here, I have some really great statistics for you all. Yes. So after Bitcoin, there were various other now since Bitcoin was gaining traction, right? There were various other cryptocurrencies that came into the market. In fact, the whole reason that crypto is considered a scam was because of this phase. Where once Bitcoin hit it, right, a lot of people understood, like developers existed back then as well. So they understood the terminology, they understood the underlying technology, and they built their own meme coins without any proper solid foundations and fundamentals. They just built these crypto coins, launched it in the market, and since it was the boom for cryptocurrency, people started buying these coins, people started investing in them, and people started holding them. Now when the boom was there, it's the same as stock market. You know, you have the bull market, you have the bear market, you have rises in the market where everybody is investing money, you have the falls in the market where everybody is withdrawing their money. The same thing happened with blockchain as well. So with cryptocurrency specifically, people saw Bitcoin, you know, becoming worth of so much money, and we're like, okay, every cryptocurrency will eventually become, you know, uh, will eventually rise in their how do I put this, in their value. Yes. So what everybody did, they started investing, and since they did not read the foundations, right, that's where they lost money. And once they lost money, they started calling crypto a scam. So is crypto really a scam, or was it their fault that they did not probably, you know, read about it correctly? What do you guys think? um Great question, Swapnali. That blockchain currently used only in finance domain, and we're going to get to the use cases. I'll talk about this. Af- That's great. Okay, so coming back to my question, do you guys really think crypto is a scam, or was it the fault of these people for not reading about cryptocurrency and, you know, investing in random cryptocurrencies? Exactly. That was the whole thing. It was never a scam. You always, it's usually the FOMO effect that we call, right? Fear of missing out. You get attracted to what's trending, which is what happened, and people started calling crypto a scam. Now, moving on to one of the essential and very canon events, if there are any Marvel fans in the audience, the canon event in the blockchain space was the birth of Ethereum blockchain. And for to everybody's surprise, Ethereum was born right here in Canada. um, uh, Ethereum was founded by Vitalik Buterin, who's a CS, who was a student at University of Waterloo. I do not know if he graduated or not, so I'm not going to call him a graduate of University of Waterloo, but he was in CS in University of Waterloo when he built Ethereum. In 2014, the blockchain, you know, took a not-for-profit initiative where they founded the Ethereum Foundation, which was established by none other than the founder Vitalik Buterin. 2015 is when the concept of smart contracts was launched. Now, what are smart contracts? Smart contracts are nothing but pieces of code that are self executing. That's why they're called smart, because they're executing on their own. You have to deploy them. It's not like they will it's not like that robots that we talk about in the movies that suddenly, you know, get their own senses and try to conquer the world. Absolutely not. You have to deploy these smart contracts, and you have to write all of those conditions in code on how they become self executing. Okay, then Linux Foundation introduced another uh you know another field of blockchain, is what I would call it, which is hyperledger. Hyperledger is another type of blockchain. So there are two types of blockchain: public blockchains. We saw Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are public blockchains. And then there are private blockchains that get used by these big organizations like Walmart, like okay, something did happen here, I don't know what. Okay, anyways, uh so all of these private blockchains are used by these big companies and foundations. Now in 2016, what happened was Bank of Japan announced a joint research. IBM strategized cloud as a solution for blockchain as a service. So like I said, Walmart, IBM, all of these people use blockchain technology. We have not heard about it. The reason being is they're using it on private blockchain. uh, Now, moving on to how US regulators approved blockchain as a mainstream investment, and Japan legalized Bitcoin currency. HSBR announced blockchain as a foundational technology. In 2018, Google, Facebook, and Twitter banned cryptocurrency advertisements because of, we talked about the boom of crypto and how people started investing without any proper research, which is why these social media websites had to take down. And plus there are still a lot of scams happening in crypto where, uh, and I'll tell you, this is from my personal experience. A lot of people reach out to you on LinkedIn pretending to be an HR, saying that they have a project that they're building. They have built the front end, they've built everything, they just need some blockchain expert to um, help them integrate blockchain into their solution, and they have this budget and they want to jump on a call, take your interview, and then get you onboarded. And the worst part is they will send you a link to the repository, ask you to run it. Now you being a coder is like, obviously you'll be like, I can ace this interview, I've been in the blockchain industry, and I've done this a couple of times to realize it is a scam. So please don't do this. No recruiter sends you any link to their GitHub, or usually it is Bitbucket these days, because GitHub is identifying these scammers and not letting them create repositories anymore. So they will send you a link of their Bitbucket, ask you to run it on your system, and the moment you run it on your system, the code will ask you to connect it to your test wallet. But unfortunately it is not getting connected to your test wallet, it's getting connected to your main wallet. And the moment you authorize transactions from your wallet, all of your cryptocurrency is gone. So I have lost money, don't worry. Same boat as anybody else whoever got scammed. But that's how you find out the type of scams that are happening. So please be very careful. Crypto is a little shady industry. If you do not have the right knowledge and the right research that you're doing, you might end up losing money. If not in the price differences, price predictions, then by people who are here to do bad things. So, and then in 2018, EC also established a blockchain observatory and forum. Now, moving on, that was blockchain 2.0, and we saw rises and struggles of blockchain. Like I said, scammers, the research, lack of research, and everything. Now, global acceptance of blockchain and research going on in blockchain. To be very honest, even though I said, if we would have discovered about blockchain in 2012, it would have been early, but we currently are also in the very early stages of blockchain. So this is also a very good time to be in this industry. In 2019, Facebook announced their own cryptocurrency, Libra. I don't know if it exists anymore. Not checked that out, but there's also the first football team that got paid with digital currencies. There's also 450 million plus crypto transactions that had happened in 2019. There were multiple cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin, pricing went up to 30K that time. We are now seeing it going up to 100K, so we know what's happening. uh, Fintechs came into the picture, Bitcoin again surged, then NFTs and metaverse trend picked up. The trend fell also. NFTs became useless, but I'm going to talk about NFT technology because I really love the underlying technology there. Now, Facebook, one of the prominent, another canon event in the blockchain industry was Facebook renaming itself to Meta. That was just like a pick up the trend and work with it kind of thing. Presently, now this is after 2019, which is after 2021. So in 2022, Indian government announced 30% taxation on digital assets, and then I think later down the line they also banned cryptocurrency. So when I was back in India, the only way I could buy cryptocurrency was I had to call my cousin who did not live in India and tell her to buy it from her account using my address and all of those things. You could, so currently I think cryptocurrency is banned in India. Um, so apparel giants like Nike, Adidas, and Metaverse started, uh, adopting blockchain, talking about NFTs. I think Adidas also launched their very own first NFT that was associated with one of their shoes. Not sure, you have to read about that. And then celebrities started launching their own NFTs again. There was one huge, okay, I totally forgot. It's called some Bay Ship or something. They are also an NFT driven community. And any there those monkey, if you guys have seen monkey, very bad digital monkey art, uh, they are a very famous community because they started initially, they got the privilege of having very influential people in that community. I think it's called the, I think it's called Base Ship, something like that. Yeah, Board Ape Yacht Club. Yeah, that was the NFT that had 10,000 uh basically very bad digital collectibles of digital pictures of monkeys, and you could own an NFT. The whole drive behind the NFT was having having the community access to the community that owns the NFT. And there are a lot of use cases of NFTs. I will share a couple of resources that you can look into, but let's just jump on quickly because I think we're running out of time. Yes. Now we talked about blockchain 3.0, right? My quick question to all of you is whether web 3.0 is the same as blockchain 3.0. Yes, Ria, thank you so much. I did not see your comment. It is Board Apes NFT, Board Apes Yacht Club. Yeah. So my question is Web 3.0 the same as blockchain 3.0? Thought blockchain is what makes the web 3.0. Hmm. Okay. Any other answers? Any other enthusiastic volunteers who would like to answer? Web 3 is built on blockchain. Okay. Okay. thought blockchain is the underlying tech that, okay, if firstly, if you guys see me looking there, right, I have a different screen there where I can see all of your replies, and my presentation is right here so that you can see my eye contact. So don't think I am that I'm not looking at you. Thought blockchain is the underlying technology that powers Web3. Web 3.0 supports blockchain and decentralization. Okay, so I do get an understanding that you are not among those crowd that really believe that Web3 is equal to blockchain 3.0. Web3 is something recoding Ria Yadav here. Web3 is built on blockchain. How? So, what is just to give you a quick summary of what Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3 is. Web 1 was basically read only. So, back in the 2000s, they built websites out of HTML and CSS only. JavaScript was not a part of the web language. Okay, so all you could do is just go on to pages and read information. You could not enter your information, you could not edit these pages unless you were the developer and the deployer of the page. And Web 2, which we are currently in or in between, is all of the Web 2 applications that we use, let's say Facebook, social media, Instagram, like any social media networking site is a Web 2 platform where you can not only read, as in consume content, but also create and um, write content, right? All social media platforms, any other websites that you visit, most of them are Web 2. What Web 3 is, not only read, write, but also own. So since it's on the blockchain, people would know who owns this website, who owns the content. Basically, Web 3 gives you more ownership over your content. Now, where does this ownership uh, conversation about ownership come into the picture is um, in the use cases of blockchain, which we're going to see in the next slide. So there are so many use cases of blockchain. Now that you understand that blockchain is an immutable technology, right? It's an immutable ledger that can store any form of data. Okay. It initially started with monetary transactions, noting down monetary transactions in the Bitcoin blockchain. But right now it has the power and the technology to store anything, which means the use case of blockchain can be added in any industry. You name an industry, I can give you a use case of blockchain. But the top three current uses of blockchain are cryptocurrency, which is um, a part of the decentralized finance use case. So cryptocurrency is not only the only financial use case of blockchain. Most people usually have this misconception that cryptocurrency is blockchain, but just remember, cryptocurrency is a use case of blockchain. Blockchain is the main underlying technology there. Okay. Now when I talk about decentralized finance, it opens up so many doors. It can help you, cryptocurrency being one of them, but the others can be enabling peer-to-peer financial transactions. My personal favorite, something that I am working on under the wraps, is central bank digital currencies, which is CBDC, a very good use case of blockchain, which a lot of other countries um, are trying to build. What CBDC does is, it enables borderless transactions. So we definitely do have cryptocurrency, right? But a lot of times, what happens in cryptocurrency also, apart from cryptocurrency, let's say you want to send your fiat. Let's say, so I know Tuba is in Pakistan, I am in Canada. Now I want to send $50 to Tuba in Pakistan. I can either what I will have to do is convert my $50 into cryptocurrency and then send that cryptocurrency to Tuba, and Tuba will have to withdraw that cryptocurrency. What the problem with cryptocurrency is that CBDC is trying to solve is the rules and regulations for cryptocurrency is different in every country. So let's say instead of Pakistan, Tuba was in India. Tuba would not have been able to withdraw the cryptocurrency only because cryptocurrency is banned in India. Now, since Tuba is in Pakistan, it also depends on the Pakistani laws of cryptocurrency, how much taxation goes into the picture. Let's say my government charges only like 5% tax. What about Tuba's? Maybe Tuba's government can charge 50% tax. So that would completely change the economics of how much I have to send Tuba if I am paying her for any of her services. Okay, which is why there is something called as central bank digital currencies, a very good technological concept that some of you can explore and try to build projects on. My personal favorite. I also have a personal project going on in that, is my bank. So let's say the Bank of Canada. We have Royal Bank of Canada, okay, and Tuba's country would have maybe the Central Bank of Pakistan, okay, will have their own cryptocurrencies. Okay, so my bank would have ECAD, which is E Canadian dollars, and Tuba's bank would have E PAK. So I think Pakistani currency is PAK. So these cryptocurrencies, so I can convert my $50 into 50 ECAD, and then this 50 ECAD can be sent to Tuba in the form of 50 PKR, and 50 PKR then can be easily converted into her native currency, which would be a totally crazy form of transaction, because you say, though you are doing borderless transactions, you are able to get rid of those transaction costs that come into the picture, right, for conversions and for uh, how do I explain this, for in terms of conversions, in terms of taxations, in terms of how your country and the other country accept. We're talking about seamless borderless transactions here. That is another use case of DeFi that we're talking about. Okay, I am going so much off topic here, randomly sharing experiences, but in case you guys are bored, just share it out there and I'll stop. Next use case of blockchain is supply chain. Supply chain is basically a blockchain enabling the tracking of goods from origin to the consumer with immutable records. So something that goes in one of the best use cases of supply chain that I have particularly seen is tracking where your goods come from. So let's say whether you are vegan, or in case you're a Muslim like I am, you would need so you have specific dietary restrictions. For everybody who has dietary restrictions, they can track the kind of food that is getting delivered to them right from the raw materials by just looking at the blockchain. One of the real world examples of a supply chain solution is Morpheus.network. Again, shout out to another one of my professors, Professor Noam Appel, who's also the co-founder of that organization and running a fabulous supply chain network across Canada. So you guys can check that out. It's called Morpheus.network. Moving on to digital identity and NFTs. Like I said, NFT being a personally one of my favorite use cases, started very wrong. People used it like a meme, and like but the NFT technology is very powerful. If you read more in depth about non fungible tokens, you would understand that these are something that can be used in a lot more ways to make so much more impact than they are with the current use cases of NFTs. One of my friends is trying to build an NFT driven blood donation system where they are able to track all, where they're able to not just build a community of all of the blood donors through specialized NFTs, but also be able to track the blood groups of these community members in case of emergencies, or when these community members donated bloods, and all of that is happening there. So that's also one of the use cases of NFTs. And digital identity, one of the most easiest examples of digital identity is, let's say you're going to a bar, okay, uh, so and when you go to a bar, They check your age, whether you are more than I don't know the legal age for going to a bar and drinking in other countries. Not even sure about the legal age in Canada right now, but let's say it if it was like 18. So they have to check whether you are greater than 18 years old, right? What do they ask you? Your maybe residential card or your passport or whatever, your physical ID, basically. And when they look at your physical ID, they're able to see your name, your date of birth, your all of the other information that is irrelevant to them is getting exposed to them, which is very crucial to you. That is where digital identity comes into the picture. It is a form of so it's usually built on private blockchains, where you, let's say the bar the guy at the entrance of the bar, let's call him the security personnel, wants to see if you are greater than the age. You tap your digital identity card, it will basically tell him whether you are greater than 18 or not. It will not tell him your age, it will not tell him your name, it will not tell him anything that is that reveals sensitive information about you. That is how powerful blockchain is. That is how great use case of blockchain is. In fact, one of the use cases of digital identity is also an NFID card, which basically once you tap on somebody's phone, it will give all of your, depending on what you have uploaded in the NFID card, it will basically give out all of your information. Uh, like let's say your LinkedIn, your GitHub. Currently, my NFID card gives out LinkedIn and my GitHub and my email, I think. So that's what we're where we're moving with digital identity. Moving on to the AI boom. So, any questions about blockchain? Any questions? I'm going to give it a minute before we jump into AI, and then we can jump in right into ICP. Perfect. No other questions. So, talking about the AI boom. Do you all remember? Okay, it's written on the screen that ChatGPT came out on November 30, 2022. But does it not feel like we've been using ChatGPT for like forever? Can you now imagine your life without ChatGPT? I see we have a couple of answers popping in. What kind of blog? Being a student, it's so convenient. Oh yes, not at all. Exactly. Vanessa, I will talk about the blockchain projects that beginners can participate in and how a beginner can really build projects and become a good developer in this field, but towards the end of the session. But great question right there. So yes, like Tuba answered, we cannot imagine our lives without ChatGPT, right? But just to let us just to get our minds right, think about it. It was just released like 3 years ago, and we are already so habituated to talking to ChatGPT that we cannot imagine a life without it, right? But was ChatGPT the first AI thing that we ever used? Absolutely not. AI is simply data analysis, okay? And especially because I am studying AI, I am a student of applied AI solutions development. I understood that AI is nothing but basically an analyzing the amount of data that we have. And what is data? Everything that you see is data, and all of the information that you have is data. that can be sorted and converted into a group, can be categorized into a group, and this group of data, or what you call a data set, can be analyzed for various outcomes. Literally, that's what AI is doing. It has a data set in the background. It basically analyzes the data set and it gives you the output. Simple program. If all of you are developers, I hope that you are. The input is the data set that you're giving, and the output would be the thing that you are looking for, which is exactly what is happening with ChatGPT as well. You're looking for something. ChatGPT already has abundance of data. The data sets of ChatGPT is super huge, very very huge. In case if you guys have heard about DeepSeek, how many of you have heard about DeepSeek, the thing that's recently trending? So, in case you did not, DeepSeek is basically competitor of ChatGPT that's doing everything that ChatGPT is doing in half the cost. In fact, I think 5 times less the cost. Not sure on that. You please do not quote me there. But it's doing on. It's much faster and much cheaper. Okay, so what initially OpenAI, the creators of ChatGPT, said was, that the data sets are huge and that they need so much to run, to basically run the ChatGPT application, to handle so many requests, to keep it hosted on the cloud, which is why ChatGPT is not truly or completely free of cost. It definitely has some initial, like a freemium model, and then you will have to buy eventually. I think it's 30 Canadian dollar, 32 Canadian dollars a month, if I am being accurate. But yes, now what did DeepSeek do? DeepSeek literally crashed the US stock market last week, I think last weekend. It was this weekend only, I think. And what, no, last weekend. And what they did was basically release the same chatbot that ChatGPT did, much faster and much cheaper. It's costing them, I think, half the amount of how much the data sets, storing the data sets of ChatGPT is costing ChatGPT. So, like I said, AI is simply data analysis. Now, whatever you are searching is is the query that's happening right there, is the requirement that you're giving, and the output is analyzing those data, the data sets that are already there, and giving you the output. It's as simple as that. Remember, captchas still exist, but we've been using captchas for the longest of times, and those captchas are basically the most simplest example of AI, in my personal opinion. So that's what AI is. Now, how do you bridge this gap between blockchain and AI? Is you build solutions that are on chain, okay, while have so if let's say you're building a solution, so one of the best examples of a merger, I'm going to use real world examples so it becomes easier for me also to explain and for you also to understand. Okay, there's a startup at Quantum Leap Labs, where I'm the technical incubation manager, um, that is building an AI chatbot to help you. uh, that DeepSeek is okay, so sorry to interrupt. So we have a startup that is building an AI chatbot to help you legalize your IP rights. So IP is intellectual property rights. It's completely built on the blockchain. It's called BIP Quantum. Yeah. So if you guys go and check BIP Quantum, you would know what the solution they're building. Basically, all of your IPs are getting stored on a blockchain. They're working and for those who don't know what an IP is, or how to create an IP, let's say you understand the use cases of IP also. To create an IP, you need to go to legal entities. There are a lot of legal procedures that you need to follow. All of this is going to cost you a lot of money. That is where BIP Quantum is coming into the picture, where they are solving this problem by, they have their own personal AI chatbot that helps you understand the whole process of IP, how to build an IP, how to get an IP on your, get your intellectual property rights done correctly, and also getting it stored on their very own blockchain. That's the merger of AI that I can think of. Um, there's a comment by Tuba. Our professor told us the other day that DeepSeek is trained on technical data, unlike ChatGPT, which is trained on big and massive data. Did you ask the professor what the difference between technical data and big or massive data is, Tuba? Just a quick question, just to understand what he meant there. So while Tuba answers that question, that is what I'm talking about. Finding solution between blockchain and AI is going to be a little tricky and difficult. Um, the reason being is both of these are very heavy technologies, in my personal opinion. To be able to get a merger on all of them is where regulation and compliances is going to help us. So there are a lot of regulations and compliances in with regards to how AI is using data. All of those can be solved if you add blockchain to your solution. That's my one personal opinion. Another opinion, and I was having this very deep conversation with my machine learning professor, talking about, how I as an engineer could be bridging the gap between the two. And that's where he said, all you have, so you do not have to train data. That's something that data analysts, PhDs in data training would already be doing. There are a lot of resources, open source codes, and everything. You as a developer should try to build products around these data sets that would require the use of blockchain to either be compliant, either promote decentralization, either promote so we talked about three keywords in the start, remember? Decentralization, security, and distribution. You have to program your solution in such a way with AI that it is tackling any one of these, all three of these, any two of these solutions together combined. So whether it is, creating an AI agent that takes the data set and brings decentralization to the whole thing, whether it distributes the solution, or whether it is providing a more secure solution to what already exists in the market, right? That's there. Now we are going to be moving on to internet computer and why I personally love this blockchain. So we're going to chart the future of web3 with internet computer. Just getting into the basics, it's the first real world computer. Now, what is internet computer for any newbie? It's another blockchain. Okay, once Ethereum came into the picture, right, with smart contracts, we saw the evolution of blockchain. What happened was it opened the doors to a lot of other blockchains. There are so many blockchains right now that are tackling different use cases. There is Cardano, which is tackling governance, which has the best on-chain governance. There is Avalanche, there is Polkadot, there is so many blockchains. The same way there is internet computer blockchain. Now, why internet computer and not other blockchains is because this is the first blockchain to host fully on-chain products. What am I talking about? I will tell you right now. All blockchain projects that you see on the web, right, are not fully decentralized. How and why? I will tell you some insights as a developer. Okay. You build the front end on your web 2 technologies, you build the back end as a blockchain. Okay. So, just to give you a quick example, what goes into building an application is the front end, the back end, and the database. What usually happens is your front end is built on all of the front end technologies that already exist in web 2. Then there is the backend part which is connected to the blockchain to store all of the essential information on the blockchain. And then there is also another, I wouldn't call it completely centralized, uh, but it is not also completely decentralized. There is a database such as IPFS. Okay, most of my blockchain projects I used to use IPFS, where I can store large data. So the problem with blockchain, right? And just give me a second. Let me just get that out there. Okay, perfect. Yes. So the what happens with most blockchains is the moment you start adding a lot of data onto the blockchain, right, the speed of the blockchain decreases. Now when the speed of the blockchain decreases, the speed of transactions happening on the blockchain decreases, the blockchain becomes slow. Your users basically have to tackle with slow blockchain. When I say slow, I mean slow transactions, a lot of lagging. And being the Oh, okay. And you will get an access to this presentation after the workshop. The entire presentation is yours to scroll around, read all of it. Plus, I think Adrian can provide you the developer documentation website to Internet Computer. So, yes. So, basically, what happens is, to increase the speed of your blockchain, what you do is you store only essential information on the blockchain. The rest of the large data, such as images, huge files, or anything that is not very important, is stored in these backend data sets, backend databases, where in and linked to the blockchain, so that your memory does not your blockchain does not take that many, how do I say, it does not have to take that much load, and it runs better on um, it runs faster and more efficiently. The problem that comes here is, this makes the whole system, this compromises the security of the whole system. So let's say, so not all hackers or not all cyber security analysts or enthusiasts, but a genuinely good hacker, ethical hacker, can crack your can get into your blockchain by through the IPFS route. What I mean by the IPFS route, these, so we're talking about these databases, unconventional, obviously, not traditional databases, but IPFS, or whether it is side chains. There is a possibility that that a very proficient ethical hacker can get into through that form, which is why most blockchain platforms currently on the web are not fully decentralized. What is happening with Internet Computer is that we are proposing a fully decentralized solution. How? By building our very own cloud platform on chain. Just give me a second, I need water. So I will just grab my water bottle because I've been talking so much. So, like I was saying, we're proposing a fully decentralized solution. How? By proposing our very own cloud system right on the right on chain. So it's getting back to our slides, it's the fastest, most efficient, and the only infinitely scalable general purpose layer 1 blockchain. Now there are layer 1, layer 2 blockchains that we can talk about, but I do not want to go off topic. So please do read about layer 1 and layer 2 blockchains. Moving on to how we're reimagining blockchain is smart contracts that pay for its own computations, that can interact with users without their wallets, and that can directly serve user experiences. One of the major issues with blockchains and why it has not boomed like AI with ChatGPT has boomed, right? Is because a lot of users do not know what blockchain is. A lot of users do not know how to navigate any blockchain based product, because the first thing that happens when you go onto a blockchain based product or a decentralized application is they will ask you for your wallet ID, connect to any wallet. Now, being a non technical user, I would not know what a wallet is. I would not know the installation process. I would not know signing up on these wallets. I would not know how to generate my own wallet ID, how cryptocurrency works, and none of these, right? Which is why it becomes harder. The adoptability of such blockchain based platforms becomes harder. What we are doing with ICP is you can log in with your own most of the ICP based projects that are out there allow you to log in with your Google account. Literally, as simple as that. Just sign in with your Google, and your own internet identity gets associated to this Google account, which can be later used. And now, what does pay for its own computation means? I will talk about this in the following. But just to give you a quick overview of the unique features of ICP, it has a very efficient consensus protocol, consensus mechanism. It's extremely safe and reliable since it is fully decentralized and on chain. It is also certified as the greenest blockchain. It also has the latest generation of smart contracts in the form of canisters, and I will talk about what canisters are a little bit down the line. It's also cheapest and has the most stable transaction costs. It has a very unique reverse gas fee model, which I will be talking about. And then there's the storage costs. There is also the other direct HTTPS out calls to direct web to websites. Now, reverse gas fees? Yes. What is gas fee? Basically, gas fee is, to put in layman terms, is a fancy term for transaction costs. Okay. Any blockchain that we're talking about, whether it is Bitcoin, whether it is Ethereum, has something called, has a term called as gas fee. And yes, there is a technical aspect attached to it. The reason why it is not called as transaction costs but gas fees, but just go and read about it. But just to give you a better understanding and a simple term, in a simpler way, gas fee is nothing but a fancier version of transaction costs. So anything that you do on the blockchain, and since we're talking about storing immutable data on the blockchain, it definitely does require money. It definitely does require a lot of energy. It definitely does require a lot of space, which is why you have to pay for every transaction that's happening on the blockchain. Now, what does Bitcoin, Ethereum, or any other blockchain do? They ask their users to pay a certain amount of fee with their with their whatever transactions they are doing. So let's say I want to send one Bitcoin. Yes, I do not have imaginary one Bitcoin to Tuba. Okay. And the reason I keep saying Tuba is because she's very interactive in the chat section. So be like Tuba, people. But yes. So let's say I want to send one Bitcoin to Tuba. I will have to send the current gas fee amount, including along with one Bitcoin to Tuba, so that she receives one Bitcoin. So currently, can somebody tell me what the gas fees on Bitcoin blockchain is going at? Because sometimes the gas fee goes over what the amount that you want to send. So can somebody quickly tell me what the gas fee on Bitcoin blockchain is going at? Nobody? I will only Google. So the current gas fees is at 1.627 Bitcoin. Seriously? Ooh. No, no, it is at 0.00017 BTC, which is wait, I think I'm not looking at it right. It is at 1.602 USD. Yes. So the current gas fees on Bitcoin blockchain is 1.6 USD. But at times when the network is busy, the the amount gets increased. So let's say I want to send $50 to $50 in Bitcoin to Tuba. I will have to pay currently 1.6 USD along with it. Okay. But when the network is busy, right? Like during Bitcoin halving, there also comes a time when the transaction cost is, or when the gas fee goes above the amount of money that you're sending. So I want to say, let's say 50. The last time that the transaction cost went above, so it was $100, I remember, during Bitcoin halving, which is a very busy time on the Bitcoin blockchain network. The transaction cost was $100. I'm sending 50. I have to pay 100 for the transaction. How crazy is that? Which is why Internet Computer has a reverse gas fee model. And what am I talking about? How does reverse gas fee work? Basically, we talked about how it works in the traditional or other blockchains. Currently in ICP, how the gas fee model works is a developer tops up their canisters or the smart contracts with something called as cycles. And these cycles is what helps the canisters to get deployed on the blockchain, and these canisters are what run the decentralized application. Okay. Talking about additional standout features, it's obviously tamper proof, unstoppable, have lower costs. We're just gonna skip through quickly because I have to get you a hands-on. We have to do a hands-on exercise. But the reason that I personally wanted to get into AI X blockchain was because of Internet Computer. One of the major reasons was Internet Computer, because they are building smart contracts or canisters that have the ability to hold LLM models, that have the ability to host LLM models on chain. So there are projects that are already running AI models as canister smart contracts on the Internet Computer. Um, but by 2030, the canisters will be able to host these LLM models right on chain. You do not need to have any off chain data. Now, like I mentioned, Internet Computer being such a great blockchain, there are 500 plus amazing dApps that have adopted Internet Computer. This is one of my favorite slides where we can show any Web2 product that has its own Web3 version that's built on the Internet Computer Protocol. So whether it's TikTok, you have Hot or Not on Internet Computer, Gmail has Dmail, Reddit has DSCVR, FTX, ICDEX, GoDaddy is ICNS, Dropbox is IC Drive. All of these have their own versions of decentralized applications built fully on chain on the internet. Now, moving on to more of developer understandings, how to build decentralized app on the internet computer. You have basically, internet computer is all about collaboration. We believe that without collaboration you are not going to grow, because to grow together you have to uplift each other, right? So our native language is Motoko programming language. But you can also build using Rust, you can also build using TypeScript, you can also build using Python. They are also working on libraries and SDKs that help you build using C++ and Java, and Solidity as well. So it's becoming a more adoptable language. So you can check out all of those. These links are nothing but the developer documentation. Let me just share that with you right here in the chat box. The developer docs that I'm talking about. Okay. Now the next one is, I'm just going to check in once if I am audible to everybody and visible to everybody, and that my presentation is going well, because I feel like there is something wrong here. Okay. Okay. Perfect. 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 Yes. So all of you can hear me. Okay. Now tapping into the market, into making ICP more accessible to everybody, is what is happening through ICP hubs. So we're building locally, but we want to scale globally, which is where the ICP hubs network come into the picture. Divinity Foundation, the birthplace of or the origin of Internet Computer Protocol, is built out of Switzerland, but we have hubs all over the world in more than 45 plus countries. I think the slide is not updated yet, but you we have hubs in more than 45 plus countries, and these hubs are basically to promote the mass adoption of internet computer. Two of these countries are Canada and US, which are part of basically the North American community. So I'm the community and developer relations manager for ICP hub Canada and US. But let's say, no matter which country you're coming from, there is an ICP hub. If there isn't a ICP hub in your country, maybe you can be the one to start the ICP hub. That's how we are talking about evangelism, where ICP hubs come into the picture. Education is through workshops like these, partnering up with more wonderful partners like Creator Fest, or universities, colleges, developer communities, influencers, regional media, and conducting these workshops, boot camps, hackathons. The next stage of this is incubation. Let's say you have your idea, you build a project. How do you So let's say you have your idea, how do you build your project on the internet computer? That's where the incubation part comes into the picture, and that's where Quantum Leap Labs is coming to into the picture. Now just reversing back to evangelism, like I said, in case you don't have an ICP hub around you, you can definitely join in the ambassador program, start your own hub in your country. In terms of education, we did talk about all of the initiatives that we're doing in partnerships, but we also have our own initiatives through Motoko training camps, the TypeScript workshop series, crash courses. Now, what are we doing here? How can you build, how can you win, and what can you build is uh, where the incubation comes into the picture. Let's say you have an idea, right? You want to build on the ICP blockchain. Firstly, you do your research, you understand how to build, um, and then, in case you want to take this idea, you're really passionate about it, that's where the incubator comes into the picture, which is where I am going to be sharing another presentation with you, a little about Quantum Leap Labs. um just give me a second. Yeah. So Quantum Leap Labs, where I am the technical incubation manager, is, let me just stop sharing, quickly share the second presentation. Um, Cancel. Wait, share my screen. Yes, entire screen. One. Share. Perfect. So, Quantum Leap Labs is North America's first Web3 startup incubator for projects built on the ICP blockchain. Our vision is nothing but to empower these early stage startups, projects, and ideas to transition into successful decentralized applications and DAOs. Um, what we offer you as a project or as an idea is, let's say you're passionate about your idea, you can come and fill in a very simple application to the Quantum Leap Labs pre-incubation program. We have two types of incubation programs: pre-incubation and incubation. Pre-incubation is for idea stage startups, where we help you with not only tech support, strategic advising, marketing, legal assistance, tokenomics, and everything, but also give you that access to early access to all of the industry tools that you need. Okay, the incubation program is for those projects that are already there in the market but want to tap into the ICP community, which I don't think is relevant for this audience, but depending. So we have a very simple application process. We have a lot of partners in the North American ecosystem that would help you get your launch your project on an even bigger scale that we can imagine. Um, so let me just simply share the application form with you right here so that you can keep that in mind. But other than that, any questions, everyone? And I think it was Vanessa's question that I will tackle in a bit. So, any questions before I move on to take Vanessa's question? Or everything good, then you can just send a thumbs up. Okay, perfect. So Vanessa asked a very good question earlier today. It was, what kind of blockchain projects can beginners participate in? Here's the thing. Like I said, blockchain can be embedded into any industry, literally any industry, whether it is fashion, whether it is health, whether it is anything. How I would personally suggest you is to use ChatGPT, ask blockchain, ask it for solutions in an industry that you are interested in. So let's take the exam. Give me an industry and I'll give you a use case, a beginner friendly use case. Any industry, anybody. And this is open to all. By the way, just putting in the link to the Quantum Leap Labs residence program. In case you have an idea that you are passionate about, please feel free to reach out to us. We have grant programs that help you, and we do understand that building a startup is not very easy, and that you would need the finance, not only the technical and the mentorship support, but also um, a support to financial support to build your project. So we have grant applications, we have idea stage grant, MVP stage grant, and even bigger, larger scale grants, and these range all the way from 5,000 US dollars to 25,000 to 100,000 and more, depending on the potential of your idea, the potential of founders, and everything included as well. So I see we're getting a couple of industries. Any other industries that you want me to tackle? This is your last chance. Beautiful. So, okay. Vanessa and Moranike. I hope or I will just call you Irving, because I do not want to pronounce anybody's name wrong. So, both of you said healthcare. Just to let you know, healthcare is one of the biggest and the most important industries where uses of blockchain can be, where you can find the greatest uses of blockchain. Just to give you a good example of how you can, and I'm going to teach you something very nice today, which is called prompt engineering. You go on to chat GPT. Okay, perfect. And you write there, give me beginner friendly projects on blockchain, on use case of blockchain for healthcare. Now, before ChatGPT gives its use case, my personal favorite use cases of healthcare, one very essential use case of healthcare is to digitalize the whole healthcare system. What I'm talking about is, if all of you are as old as I am or younger, you might have those vaccination cards, the where your all of the vaccinations, health records, exactly, you have health records as well, you have vaccination cards. But let me just get on this one solution, and then I'll go on to health records as well. You have those vaccination cards. All of us have paper based vaccination cards till date, okay, except the COVID vaccination that we took, where we got like a digital certificate. Okay, so why not maybe digitalize those vaccination cards onto the blockchain? Very simple, straightforward use case that has not been attempted yet. Don't know why. I was recently talking to a person who was trying this but hasn't implemented it yet. So you can try it. Very beginner friendly. Coming to health records, another major use case of blockchain in the healthcare industry is this. Let's say, God forbid, somebody is in an accident. Okay, they're rushed to an ER, a hospital that they have never been before. For them to and this somebody, let's call it Jane. Okay, let's call her Jane, and Jane has been in an accident, has been rushed to an ER that she has never been to before. How does the doctor treating Jane know of her allergies and of her medical history? So, building a blockchain based system where all of your medical records are stored, it's going to be a very secure, permission based blockchain where all of your information is not given out to everybody. It's not publicly visible because medical information is very sensitive. It is only authorized to physicians that are treating you. Now, this use case, the reason it is not beginner friendly and is a little more complex is because you will have to deal with a lot of permissions with all of the data that you're storing. But it is a use case that can be built. Reason it has not been implemented yet is a lot of people have built such a use case, but apparently, any industry to adopt a new technology takes a lot of time. Don't know why. There is a lot of bureaucracy involved, there is a lot of decision making involved, there is a lot of people involved in approving all of it, which is why it delays the process. But that's a very good use case of healthcare. Okay, now if exactly, electronic medical and healthcare records are becoming common, but not as mass adoptable that you're going everywhere and you're getting. When I say electronic medical or health records, I'm not talking about the data that is stored on hospitals' local databases that can be shared among hospitals depending on case to case. I'm talking about a blockchain that stores these health records that can be utilized through maybe an NFID technology. Or to utilize the this solution, you have a lot of ways. NFID technology is something that I can think of, but yeah, depending. Now let's just chat GPT this. um okay, somebody said, see, decentralized medical records, blockchain based prescription verification. Okay, a lot of prescription fraud also happens. So you do know that, like, people prescribed drugs to prevent counterfeit prescriptions by using blockchain to verify the authenticity of medical prescriptions. Very good use case. Blood donation tracking system, which one of my friends is building, like I said. Vaccine supply chain, healthcare DApp for insurance claims. And if you just look at this, the beauty of using AI, of using data analysis, it's saying, would you like a GitHub boilerplate for any of these projects to get started faster? So you see, you can build anything in this age and era that you're living in. You have superpower right on your computer in the form of AI. Other fields that I see here is banking. CBDC, we already talked about it. Another banking thing that I can think of, one of the major ones that I have currently read about is CBDC only, because honestly, the whole idea of blockchain is, when it comes to the when it comes to the government as well as banks, they're a little against the whole idea of blockchain, because they're losing their centralized power if blockchain comes into play. But one very good example is CBDC. Another decentralized finance application that I can talk about is, let's just put it in here and see, for banking. I know CBDC is going to be one of them. I know that you can have loan, crowdfunding platforms, KYC verification systems. Um, like I said, crowdfunding that covers loan management, microfinancing, all of these. Another field that I see here is even hospitality. Damn, my Siri just got Siri. Okay. So as you can see, all of these have, you can get solutions on ChatGPT. Another, somebody talked about events and hospitality, by the way. That's also a very good industry to have blockchain. Let me think. Hospitality. What can you have in hospitality? Hospitality slash events. I'm thinking. Oh, ticketing system. Yes. Ticketing system is a very, you can use NFTs as tickets. In fact, okay, do not share this with anybody and do not get it tracked back to me. But I remember somebody pitching an idea about a ring system, or an NFT based system that will allow you access to all the technical conferences around the year in North America. I heard somebody pitch this idea to a very huge conference organizer, and that conference organizer loved it also. So that can be, we have an event to venue matching AI based platform. Ooh, nice. Loyalty and reward points, yes. Event booking system, on chain guest verification as well. In fact, if you see a lot of times, right, somebody books, because travel agents are involved, the booking usually happens on different names, the guests coming in are different, so all of these verification and everything comes into the picture. Sponsorship and funding can happen via community led initiatives. So we'll not get into DAOs because then that will take a lot of our time. Hello, was I disconnected? Okay, I'm back. Very good. Perfect. Fantastic. Now we're going to quickly jump into one of my favorites. We are going to deploy a canister on the on chain. All of you can try to follow along with me in this exercise. It's totally up to you if you want to get hands on. All I would request you to do is I'm going to share the link in the chat, and you can just open it up, connect it with your GitHub, and just follow along with me. You do not need any system configuration or anything. The whole link is designed in such a way that we skip the downloading and the uh, s- particular system based issues. Let me share that with you. Dev chat. Yeah, wait a minute. Um, yeah, this is the link. Okay, perfect. Okay, if you guys can open this up, you will be redirected to a Git pod. Okay, wait. There is something happening here. Just give me a second. Why am I not able to get into my Git pod? Is everybody facing the same issue that I am? Are you able to open the link? If you are, just put a thumbs up in the chat so that I know that it's just not working for me. Mhm. Correct. Same privacy error. Just let me share a different link with all of you. Okay, it's one, two. Okay, if any of you are developers that want to get into hardcore development right from scratch, right, one boot camp that I would like to suggest you is, it's a free boot camp. Okay, and we do have live boot camp classes on our so we do run live boot camp as well. But if you are somebody like me who likes to study at their own pace, at their own time, then this is a very good free resource um, for internet computer protocol. It's the Motoko boot camp. It's free of cost, and it just takes you through the entire process of building a bootcamp, right? Let me just open up the Git pod for you guys. Just let me get the code. I think, yeah, I think it is this one. But let me just verify it on my end. Till then, any questions, anyone? Yes, it is this one. Cancel. Okay, this is the website, the second one that I shared with you. It's a Git pod, and let me share my screen. Please make sure you open it with the browser. Let me share my entire first screen. Okay, perfect. So if you can see, right, this is how it should look like if you're opening it in the browser. Let me just open an incognito page or a private window and show you how it works. without the, can you guys see my private window? Yes. So try opening this up in your on your end. The whole reason I'm using a private window is just to show you how to do the setup. Click on continue with GitHub. It will take you to your GitHub. Connect with your GitHub, sign into your GitHub. You get redirected, and then you are building a new workspace. Do not change anything here. Just click on continue. Okay. Once you are on this page, right, it will give a pop up like this to open Visual Studio Code. Do not do that, because once we go into our local Visual Studio Code, we will have to do all the setup from scratch, and we do not want to do that because of time constraints. You can try that later, and then reach out to me if, in case you have any doubts, or ping in the on our Discord channel, which I will be sharing the links for. But click on more actions and say open in browser, and this is how it will open. Okay, perfect. um Before everybody starts to drop off and leave, because we are doing a hands-on technical session, just let me tell you a couple of things. The presentation will definitely have our Definity Foundation. Do you think a ticketing platform is a good use case of blockchain, and how about costs? I think it is. I mean, you can build anything out of a blockchain, so yes, definitely. So this the PPT will the presentation that I'll be sharing with all of you will have a QR code. You guys can scan this, join the Discord channel for our community. I also have shared the links with Adrian. If she can share them in the chat box, it would be great. And finally, I would want to talk about very important aspect with you, which is called just let me give me 1 second. So it's believing in what you want to build. Just believe and it will be. This is a quote from my former mentor. He said, whatever you believe in, right, no matter how crazy it sounds, it is going to become true because of your perseverance. This is the QR code, Vanessa, that you were asking for. You can go ahead and scan it, and then we'll quickly jump on to the exercise, which is very pretty basic. And I would love to see all of you do it. So perfect. Internet computer docs and everything. Okay, moving on. I'll come back to this slide later, where I want to end the whole session. But moving on to our technical hands-on workshop. If you can see here, right, there are something called as chapters for everybody who's following, or for everybody who will be watching the recording. You have to go is in qualification and in channel, challenge main.motoko. Okay, this is a challenge that you can do on your own. There are um comments written down for you to perform, but I will be going through the demo main.motoko. Now, what is main.mo? Any programming language will have its own extension. Motoko also does too. Any file that is written in Motoko programming language will have a .mo extension. Okay, as you can see here, we've named it main.mo. You can name it index.mo. You can name it anything.mo. Okay, what is an actor? Any 99% of the times when you open a .mo file, right, you will see the word actor. What is an actor? Actor is basically, as the name suggests, it is the communicator between canisters. An actor is what initializes a canister. Okay, so we're naming the actor here as counter. This is a basic counter program, similar to a hello world program in on any programming language, right? So we're initializing an actor called counter. There is a variable that we are declaring. Now, variables in Motoko are a little different, okay, than other programming languages. There are similarities as well, but there are the main differences are there are two types of variables, okay. There is immutable variables and mutable variables. Because we have to have the immutability in a blockchain, that's the reason we have immutable variables. Immutable variables are basically immutable variables are basically defined by the keyword let. Now if you're coming from a JavaScript background, right, let, you already know let and var. Now, var is a mutable variable here, which means you can change the value of the variable after initializing it. Let is basically an immutable variable, which means you cannot change the value of the variable after initializing it. So we have initialized two variables, a mutable one, which is counter, and an immutable one, which is message. Now, because this is coming from because this is being on a blockchain, right, you cannot, and the reason that you cannot uh, just simply write code is because, let's say you define an infinite loop, you're going to lose all of your resources, which is why instead of JavaScript we usually use TypeScript. Even in financial applications, right, banking applications that are web 2 based, you do not use JavaScript in them, because JavaScript is a very loosely typed language. You can write anything and it will run, like it will not give you an error, it will just give you a, like a, even if you are performing an addition, or let's say a division operation on strings, on characters, right, it will not give you an error, like the program will not stop, it will just give you an output as not a number. That's it. So you cannot use JavaScript because it is loosely typed. You use TypeScript in TypeScript, which is tightly packed programming language in even in banking applications. The same way, any blockchain that you're using, any blockchain that you're working with, any programming language you're working with that is writing on the blockchain, you have to have a tightly scripted language. What do you mean by a tightly scripted language is, their variable types have to be defined. So if you can see, counter is nat stands for natural numbers, or basically numbers, and text stands for text. We do have a couple of more variable types, which is I think boolean, etc etc, but we're not going to go that deep. It's nat and text that we're using. So if you see, natural number is 0, text is what we have defined it as. Motoko bootcamp will become the best web3 bootcamp in the world, or whatever. Then we have defined, the next thing that we're doing is defining functions. Functions are a way that you can access, functions are basically of two types. If you come from a programming background, you know what a function is. A function is a set of code that does something that you want it to do. It takes input, it gives output. It needs to be called, okay. In Motoko there are two types of functions: public functions and private functions. We'll talk about private functions later, but public functions are accessible from outside the canister. So any other canister that wants to talk to this canister or execute or call a function of this canister can access a public function, okay. Now, the thing with public functions is you use the keyword public. Obviously, func is the keyword for function, and then you give it a name, set counter, okay, or increment counter, or get counter. Now, talking about the two types of functions, that two types of public functions or private functions is update function and query function. The best way I can explain this to you is through a social media application. When you are, let's say you are using a social media application that is built on the blockchain, okay. when you're scrolling the application, right, or when you're just go scrolling through reels, not liking, not commenting, not doing anything, just scrolling through them, okay, you're just reading the content, that is when you use a query function, okay. And then let's say you like a reel, that is when you are making a change to the blockchain, you're writing on the blockchain, which is when you would use an update function. All functions are basically fundamentally update functions, okay, on the core, until and unless you specify the word query, like how we have done here. There is one query function in this entire thing where we are just reading the value of the counter, we are not changing. And the reason that we have two different functions and complicating this process is because of the processing time that I will show you live. The difference in the processing time, since you're not doing any update to the blockchain, the transaction time for this particular function would be 2x less than the transaction time that is taking for an update or a write function, okay. I hope you're getting my point. Now, we talked about functions. This function is basically to call the counter, to get the value of the counter. This function is basically to increment the counter by one and return the counter. This function is to set the counter, where we're initializing, where we're setting the counter to a different number altogether. We assign a new value to the counter variable based on the whatever the argument the user is given, okay. Now we're going to deploy this basic counter function on something called as the playground. So as you all know, there is local host environment that you have in web2 platforms. The same way there is playground in ICP environment. You do not deploy any of this on the mainnet, because when you're deploying on the mainnet you would need something called as cycles. How do you get cycles? You basically buy ICP token, okay, burn ICP to convert them into cycle, and then use that cycle to deploy the canister. That is how we are talking about the reverse gas fee, where the developer or the person hosting the platform is using cycles or using their own money, reversing the whole transaction costs and feeding it to their canisters. But as a developer, and we'll talk about that, you can get free cycles from Definity Foundation to help you host your projects on the mainnet, okay. But let's just get into the deploying on the playground, and I'll show you the difference between deploying on a playground and deploying on the mainnet as well. You just do, firstly, in your terminal, if you can see my terminal, let me just zoom in. Oh, sorry, zoom it in for you guys. Can you see my terminal here? I will just close this part and I will just click on clear so that I can clear everything. Can you see my terminal now? Just a thumbs up would be good in the chat box. And if you are following along, are we here? Anybody? A thumbs up would really help me know if you guys um, can see my terminal at least. Okay, perfect, Rion. Okay, so what we're first going to do is type in the command dfx hyphen hyphen version. Now you might ask me what dfx is. See, as you can see, dfx not found. So what I would do, I would delete this terminal and start a new terminal. Now in Mac, usually all you have to do is pull up dfx hyphen hyphen version, but in Windows you can just go into file and new terminal. Here it would be here, file, new terminal. Where is new terminal? Oh no, file, sorry, click on those three and then new terminal, okay. dfx hyphen hyphen version. Now you might have a question, what dfx is. Dfx is basically a command line tool to manage and deploy canisters, so it's for deployment. Usually in your system you will have to install dfx. Currently in this particular web environment that we have, dfx has already been installed. The only reason I had to close my terminal and open it again is because it refreshed. So installation was completed and you would have to refresh your terminal to use dfx. Now what do we do? The next command that we would do is dfx deploy hyphen hyphen playground, and I would deploy my canister, which is called counter. I think I wrote it as counter. Now, how do you know what your canister is called? It's usually the name of the actor that your canister is called, but that's not the canister that we're talking about. How do we know what the canister is? Go into your dfx.json and you would see canisters. And once you see canisters, you have all canisters that are you basically being used in all of these projects. But we are talking about the counter canister. It is case sensitive, so please remember. If you can see, when I click dfx deploy hyphen hyphen playground counter, it is installing canisters, it is installing the code, running the canister, and voila, it has deployed my canister on the main net, sorry, on the test net, and I can view it. And you guys can also check this out. So it's just not local, it is globally deployed on the main on the test net. If you can see, I can query the get counter here and it would give me 0. I can call the increment counter and it would increment the counter. I will have to call the get counter again and then it will give me 1. Okay. We can now set the counter to, let's say, 5. Okay. And it has set the counter. Now I'll have to call the query function again and it will show me the 5. Okay. But just to let you all know, remember I told the difference between query functions and update functions comes into play when you are working with efficiency of your system. As you can see, the query function takes only 0.26 seconds and the increment function is taking 1.22 seconds. And every millisecond is important for a cloud engineer or developer or altogether to scale your system and perform better load balancing, which is why we have two different types of systems, which is called um, which is why we have two different types of functions, query functions and update functions, just to increase the efficiency of your blockchain. Let's say I call the query function again. Can you see it's making me wait? Now it took 1.952 seconds, and once I called the query function it took 0.336 seconds. Can you see the difference? It's 2x the difference, right? And then there is an output log. What I would personally want you all to do, just to understand if you got understood the knowledge that I am trying to impart to you guys here, is try the challenge, deploy it, and send the deployed link here. If you are following right now, right, you can try this challenge. um Deploy it using the commands that I showed you, dfx deploy hyphen hyphen playground counter. I was talking about how you would deploy this on the mainnet. You would just remove the playground and add dfx deploy hyphen hyphen ic. Ooh, wait, no. Are you guys sending me my? No, wait. Damn. Damn. You guys are following along. I'm so happy. Did you guys deploy the counter or the motivation letter? Okay, you guys deployed the counter. But that's also great. I see great progress here. You guys deployed the counter. What would be a challenge is if you can open up the challenge main.mo and finish up the motivation letter here. It's very simple. You know, it has steps written. You initialize it with your name, you give it a message, you set the message, get name, and then you deploy the canister. And then you just send it in the chat box. I would be more than happy to see you guys prospering. Perfect. No, I can see Deepa. I opened up your uh, canister and it showed me right here. If just to give you a confirmation, if I just open up your canister here, right, this would go crazy. This is Deepa's canister, and this is, I think, Vanessa's canister. If you can see, canister ID changes the moment I'm putting it. That was Deepa's. This is Vanessa's. Proud of you guys. Okay, great. But a challenge would be to do the motivation letter where you are initializing everything on your own. You would know. Now, coming to how do you deploy it on the mainnet, right? You just do dfx deploy hyphen hyphen IC. Okay. Write the name of your canister, which is like counter. Don't try this. And then give your internet identity, which for me is, how would you get your internet identity is, I'm just going to give something random because I don't want to give out my internet identity here. But most of the times your internet identity will have canisters. I will share documentation with you how to convert canister. Since we're running out of time, I'll share documentation with you on how to convert canisters, how to convert ICP tokens into canisters, into cycles that can be used to deploy canisters. Sorry, vocabulary, people, vocabulary. Vocabulary is very important when you are in the technical field. So, like Adrian shared the developer documentation here, you will find all of the resources. Honestly, in my personal opinion, being a good developer means you are able to read the documentation. That is it. You do not have to memorize anything. Nobody is going to take your mental exam here saying, tell me how do you initialize a variable without looking at anything. You can Google, you can Stack Overflow, you can Chat GPT. Personally, I would not prefer Chat GPT because it's not that advanced in terms of coding. But yes, you can use resources, which is why being a good developer only means reading the being able to read and understand the documentation of any programming language, and you are good to go. Where is the internet computer documentation? So in case you do not have the link or you lose the link, right, what you do is you just type internetcomputer.org. This is how the website looks like. You click on develop, you click on developer docs, and this is how beautiful. And you can see all of the languages that it supports. Currently we're using Motoko. Okay. And it will give you all about Motoko. In fact, if you are somebody who likes videos more than reading, then motokobootcamp.org is a very fantastic bootcamp that the guy is taking. It also has a lot of reading involved, but yes. Now, let's say you're finding out convert ICP into cycles. You just search it like this, literally in your space bar, and it will take you to Internet Computer Developer Docs DeFi website. Now, this is, follow the documentation to find out how you can convert your internet compute your ICP tokens into cycles. Now, since we're developers and we don't have money to utilize on our test projects, how to get cycles, there is a way around. What you do is, I think there was a uh, let me see if it is on this website only. No. So you search free cycles. There is something called as Definity Cycles Faucet. Okay. You click on this. Let me share this website with you. It's literally this. This is the process where Definity will send you, I think, 10 trillion cycles that you can 10 trillion free cycles that you can use to deploy your application on the internet computer's mainnet, and keep it hosted for a few initial couple of months. Unfortunately, there is no way to convert those cycles back into ICP tokens and make free money, because I've already tried and it does not work. So there you go. This is the website that you can use to get free cycles from the Definity team themselves, because they are promoting this. It's a not for profit foundation, and they are trying to promote the mass adoption of ICP. Yes. So that's about it. Anybody that has deployed the motivation letter, I would love to read it. I would love to see your deployment. And yeah, that's about it for the session as well. um Last thing I would like to tell you all, leave you with this one quote, is believe and it will be. That's something my former mentor used to say. He used to say that, uh, you do not have to ask anybody. All you have to do is believe in your solution. Obviously there is research, pivoting, and going back and forth, trying, testing, failing, test fast, fail fast, and all of the things that you are doing. But the first thing that somebody needs to do, to believe in their solution. That's all. Okay. And I would love to hear your thoughts about the session. I know we went a bit over time.
No, it was
Yeah.
great. No, 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 you did good. You did so good. I actually extended it. So this was an amazing session. Can we
Mhm.
please get a round of applause for Attica?
Thank
Like, I
you.
need emojis in the chat. I need emojis that are popping up. I really, really appreciate you taking the time to just pour into our community and this passion. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts. So I have also shared a survey in the chat. So if you could please fill out this survey, it allows us to continue to improve these workshops for you guys, as well as bring even more amazing facilitators like Attica to present to you, and also bring her back and share that feedback with her as well. Let her know how great she did. And yes, I would like to, if you guys have more questions, I would love to take time to answer or to like do some call out for questions and things like that. If you have more questions for Attica, I know you guys are sticking around. Please let us know. You can add them in the chat. You can add them in the QA. We can hang around a little bit longer. And if not, we can go ahead and wrap this up. But you guys, it's up to you guys. You just let me know. Thank you. Yeah, it was awesome. Morenike, Deepa, you have been really hanging out with us. I appreciate you. She said, thank you so much for this great session. It has been her very first time learning about blockchain. That's what we're here for. Tuba, you have been hanging in there. Thank you so much for being so interactive. Rian, thank you so much. Okay, Rian had a question. He asked, can these exercises be done on a phone? So that is not one.
Unfortunately, not, because you would need. Okay, if you are, I do know a person who tried this on the phone. In my extended circles, but he had to connect his phone to a chip, a GPU chip, as well as a keyboard. So if you can do that, then you can do it on the phone.
That's a great answer. I love that. So
Yeah.
hopefully, Rian, you're up for the challenge. Um,
If
uh,
you can connect a GPU to your phone and then get it connected to a keyboard, then you can definitely do it.
yes. And then Vanessa says that it looks like Definity needs a coupon code. Do we have resources for that?
Coupon code. Let
Mhm.
me see what Vanessa's talking about. Just give me a second there. I think she's talking about the cycle faucets, right? Next step. Okay. So what you have to do to get this coupon code is, I think, go on the Definity's Discord and just 1 minute.
Oh, is that the link that you shared with me earlier? Let me grab that. I can throw it in the chat.
Yeah, Definity's Discord. So this is Definity Discord channel where you need to go. Where are you guys? Let me go here. Okay. You go here. There is a channel called Faucet. Okay. I think there is a channel
And we'll
called.
also share these resources in the email following
Mhm.
after. If you had to register to get in, so we already have your email, we'll send it out and share it with you too. And
Yeah.
we'll have it available in our Discord as well too. So you'll have access to these. Don't worry about losing them.
So if you can see, there is a channel on the ICP developer community called Faucets. All you have to do is okay. All you have to do is go and put slash faucet in this, but I think they closed down this channel. So what you can do is, since we are also the official North American community, you can go on to our Discord, which is very simple, and in the dev chat just type need cycles, okay, and tag either me or our facilitator Chetan, and he would give you cycles, okay. He
Okay.
would give you a coupon that would work for cycles. That's a way around all of this. Okay.
All right.
Also, to create your own internet computer identity, which you would need to fill in your cycles, all you need to do is search on Google. Like I said, Googling is the new art. Internet identity.
Seek and you shall find, guys. I'm trying to bring on my friends here just to show you guys that it can be this simple. If you're looking for it, you can find it. And we're also here to support you
Yes.
too. But
So
yeah.
this is the internet identity app that you can go and build your own identity.
It takes 3 seconds, you guys.
Yeah, you
Literally.
will have to like continue, create new, click on create new, and it will take you. Now I am not going to create another one because I already have one. So I'm just closing this whole thing now. But yes, that is how simple it was. The entire process.
So, other than that, I would also add, just for anyone who is following along, yes, please kind of tap in with the ICP community. They are an amazing resource. They are really showing up for Creator Fest for you guys as a community and sponsoring. So consider all of the inspiration that you've got from this workshop and what you consider if you want to join the hackathon, which is coming up. You guys can register. Our dev post is live. You got that email last night. You should have, or like earlier this week. Also, check out their Discord links. I add them. Well, Attica added the one link and I added the additional one for the North American hub. So stay connected with them too. If you check out our YouTube channel, Shaitan, he did a workshop back in December for us when we kicked off the Learnathon too. So feel free to circle back to that, run it back, spin the block on that. Other vernacular, if you guys aren't familiar with the word DApp, it's a decentralized app. Those are the kind of things that you can build and submit to the hackathon. So look into decentralized apps. That's basically the Web3 or like the blockchain version of like the application that you would consider building. But if you weren't including blockchain, then it would be like Web2 if you consider it in that consensus. And then also there was like NFID. If you guys don't know what that means, it just means like non-fungible identity. So like if you hear about like NFTs, it's a non-fungible token. So it's just about the fact that like it's yours and it's something that you would have ownership of. Think about that. We're gonna have more conversations around this. Attica is also available in our Discord as well. I can't think of any other thing that I need to remind you of. So yeah, I'm just really excited that you guys.
Any questions, any feedback? I would love to hear it. I'm hanging out for
Yes.
one more minute and then we can close this off, I think.
Yeah, going once, going twice, guys. This is your last chance to ask questions, at least during the workshop. Otherwise, you can ask them in our Discord or you can ask them
Absolutely.
in the ICP Discord.
You guys can reach out to me on LinkedIn as well. I would love to connect with each of you. And as somebody who started right from scratch, from zero, with nobody in my network, I would suggest all of you to create content on LinkedIn. You do not have to fantasize it or make it beautiful or anything like that. Just write raw content on LinkedIn. You will get used to it. People will know what you're doing. My mentor used to say, if it's not documented, it never happened.
That's
So
why we build out loud, guys.
remember to document your journey. You write about things, you get to people read about your learnings, your insights, and that's how you build connections. You get referrals, you get connected with industry leaders, get hired. In fact, I have this crazy story of, getting two job offers without even applying for them just from my LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is a whole great universe that you can explore on your own.
All right, you guys. All right, so we
Okay,
are going to go
perfect.
ahead and wrap this up. Thank you again to Attica for gracing us with her brilliance. And we will continue on this direction. So, you guys, please take advantage of these resources. You can catch the recording for this on our YouTube. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your evenings. All right, talk to you
Perfect.
guys soon.
Can we click a picture or something like that?